Oh, did she say she's not coming?
Maybe unnecessary. She's traveling today.
Yeah, she's currently traveling right now.
She's currently coming. Well, then this may be a very, very short management meeting. So we'll just start with the squares. Michelle.
Hey, oops. So I've been getting my willpower back, trying to approach testing again. I'm debating between trying to add that fourth column for the sort variable and just like doubling down on developing the other sentences that, though awkward, do allow you to develop outside of the story table, which like they're much more flexible and that they really just let you do a lot of other things that you want to do. They just don't let you do it in a way that doesn't care about the order of operations, which is the point of the story table, is to allow you to do more behavior-driven development type. It's not exactly behavior-driven development, but like scenario-driven development.
Scenario, yeah.
So, because that fourth column just saps all my hope in life. But I have worked out a couple other bugs. Also did some of the documentation type assignments for the sprint. I was not able to get my path to work for the to install the Python Markdown, PyDoc Markdown, and then actually be able to use it in my terminal. I was able to install it. I don't know where it's installed. I don't know where it's trying to call it from. I don't know what's happening. I looked up a bunch of issues. I spent a couple hours digging down into what it's supposed to mean, and still nothing from my terminal command not found. So I could neither test that generation of code or create or add that to the build step because it doesn't work on my machine. But it does run. The currently generated PyDoc Markdown does run and arranges the sidebar in a way that I like. So I think I made a PR for that or a branch for that, but with the caveat that I can't generate the Markdown. Someday. Sorry, I'm rambling.
Any sort of tactful Tuesday?
Sorry. This is tactical stuff.
That's yeah.
That's the idea. The possible research stuff, I don't know if we wanted to talk about it here. Or the criminal, the
clean slate.
There's what's been decriminalized, and then there's what's expungible, which are two different things. Expungible is much more difficult. What's been decriminalized is also difficult, but what I want out of an initial research project is just how you tell what's been decriminalized. If what it involves is looking at the current set of laws and a previous set of laws and seeing what's not there anymore, right? What's missing because it's no longer in the list of crimes, then you can write a program that will collect that information very quickly.
The actual legislative history that would have decriminalized would say this is, we're getting rid of this thing and we're replacing this.
Okay.
So there should be a single source.
Well, for each individual, well, that's not as programmatically like simple to.
So I'm not sure we need to back up. I think
I'm just saying the research project might be first, how do you tell what's been decriminalized? Specifically, is there a way to compare previous master crime lists?
So I think we need to back up and have a longer conversation about what you're hoping to accomplish.
Sure.
Because my understanding of the Clean Slate project, so it sounds from based on what you're saying now, I think maybe you're trying to to enable the removal of things under the change to the marijuana law, as opposed to just the historic ability for removing things from your record. Is that correct?
So there are different kinds of removing things from a record. The marijuana law is one thing that's been decriminalized, but there are other things that have been decriminalized.
Yeah, so
And they're all in a same category.
that gets to be a larger, I think we need to have a larger conversation about the goals and the scope of clean slate, as opposed to so there's an existing statutory ability to remove things from your record based upon classes that they are regarding X number of years after. And this is different than expungement, removing from your record. Well,
Sealing.
Effective.
I believe me, I know the ins
Nomenclature,
and
yeah.
outs. You don't have to like.
So
tell
I
me
thought
the
we were
difference.
focusing more on that. So this addition of the additional stuff creates another set of
So-
conversation. We just need to. I think it's a
So-
longer conversation.
Decriminalized records, calculating that is part of expungibility. That is a class of expungible offense.
Yeah, I think we need to. I'm
Okay,
just saying the conversation we're going to need to have is going to be longer than we can have
right now.
Now.
Okay. In that case, I think I'm.
Just one like quick thought about it is,
Mhm.
is there like a interest group or advocacy group that can help get out the word about a particular decriminalized statute, right? Because I think it's easier to focus people around one specific issue and have that be something you automate, whereas the general scope of this law was decriminalized seems like someone might know about or need a lawyer to really help them navigate. But we could
So
focus
that's-
on one
that's
specific
kind of,
thing, marijuana.
I think I think we do have different ideas of what this project is. So
I
maybe,
suggest we'll need to have another
Yeah.
conversation.
yeah, probably. But thank you for saying that, because it clarifies for me a bit where the confusion might be. But I think that's a good topic, but yeah, we need to discuss it.
Yes, there. I think we have some mismatch on expectations for scope, so we need to have that conversation.
Sure.
And we can schedule that, maybe not this week.
Maybe not this week.
All right. Any other tactical?
I think not.
All right. Aubrey, anything you want to bring to Tactical Tuesday? Discussing what's going to happen in 15 minutes is appropriate.
So in 15 minutes, Dave and I will jump off to do onboarding and do a hello world. And I know, so is stand-up going to take place at the same time for everyone else?
Yeah.
Okay. But then we're also going to do a hello world after that, and we'll miss Teaching Tuesday and stand-up. Anyone's welcome to join, and the links are in Teams. And for coordination, Quentin gave me access to all of the GitHub and dev admin stuff, so I can troubleshoot just access issues this morning and going forward. And if anyone needs, I have those access. And I ran the new wizard this morning. I just wanted to give kudos. Looks good, nice. I like the new features. That's it.
You have admin on like the dev and test servers too, right?
I think, yes, I already had that from
Okay, yeah.
previous. Yes, thank you.
Okay, cool. Just making sure.
All right, cool. Bryce.
The only tactical-ish thing I have to update is I talked with David Benton from Jefferson Parish on Friday.
Okay.
As expected, it was a very easy conversation. He's an easy guy to talk to and very accommodating in terms of like, oh, we could try this. Yeah, let's try this. That'd be really easy. And so I had essentially sent him a stripped down version of what we're already sending Tyler, saying like, here's we could get you something that looks like this. And we chatted a bit. The only thing that might be like a little bit difficult, which is something we just also need to do for Tyler, but we might have to make it a bit more general, is the what to do when someone's like when the actually filing is something happens with the filing. Tyler already has like a set of APIs to handle stuff with that I am going to start working on soon, I think. that essentially their servers call back to our servers and say like, here's this update. And I think my plan right now is to just like store like whoever, if they submit it in, where we might have to, if they're e-filing, we might have to make them have an email so we can save the email, what the filing ID was, and then whatever thing we get back from them, we just forward it to the email, their email. And that will be like, that's a good and minimum viable product. And so we just also need to make sure that we can, I can make that work for non-Tyler specific technologies, just like a webhook. And so that's really the only complicated-ish thing, but I think he said he was going to start on that soonish, and he'll reach out to me when he has like a little test environment ready for me to try some stuff out with. But I don't think I have any of tactical-ish stuff. Yeah.
Cool. Quentin.
I think most of the stuff I've been working on the last week is just around our sprint on the Weaver and the runtime code. I don't think there are a lot of decisions to make there. We've mostly just wrapped up those last bugs. It's looking good. I guess when we were talking this morning, it just reminded me that maybe we should think about longer term projects. So some of the bigger forms that we've been talking about, the 258E, the adult guardianship. I don't know if this is a good time to talk about any of those.
Yeah, I think this is.
If not, I guess we could talk a little bit about the documentation stuff, since three of us will be on the line, at least Michelle, Bryson, and I, although not Lily. Maybe we can use some of the time that we had for stand-up for talking about that. But yeah, let's start with the 258E and the adult guardianship.
I also have one more update that I forgot to mention, that I talked to Marcus and Nevin from Germany on their efforts with their testing framework, and they're currently working with the API. Yeah, it was a really interesting conversation. They're currently working with the API, and we all, kind of discussed the pros and cons and stuff like that. They're going to keep working on that and share code if it gets to that, a level of if they get to a level of confidence with it, I think. But and then, kind of share experiences as we go, as seems appropriate. That's all.
Cool.
But,
and just for context, I don't think everyone knows who that is. So there's a German institute, Arisa, who joined our boot camp. I'm doing some work with them separately, and they're really interested in our testing framework. So,
and they're familiar with they're familiar with JavaScript as well. And one of them, Nevin, is familiar with Puppeteer, actually. So if they do end up getting invested in the end-to-end side of things, they could definitely contribute to the code, and that would be incredibly helpful to bring a few more minds in on it. So that would be exciting. We'll see.
And then to preface the larger conversation Quentin wanted to have about larger projects, I do have another meeting with the court forms person later this week, and actually I think it's today. It's either today or tomorrow, and so hopefully that will lead us towards maybe either being able to take some of the stuff that we've had in the past that hasn't been going directly to the court and make it go directly to the court. It may, or it may be my hope beyond hopes is somehow figuring out some way to get them involved with the 209A, so that we can get some traffic from them there and maybe address whatever concerns they might have. But so that's a relationship we're sort of starting back up, and it may have some larger project work for us to do, or at least something to say about it, whether or not we will figure out what that means for us after we hear what it is they have to say. And then to preface, Quentin had mentioned both the 258E and the adult guardianship. For those of you who don't know, the adult guardianship is a set of, you're talking about the stuff that Keisha had worked on, is that correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So there's, I want to
Yeah, I
make
was
sure we weren't
thinking
talking
that
about different
made
guardianship.
some progress. I haven't actually seen it run through. I'm just curious, like, what it would take to get it finished.
It's probably closer than the 258E, and that 258E would require repurposing a bunch of stuff from the 2NIA and then stitching it together and then adding stuff. Whereas the adult guardianship is more just fleshing out an existing superstructure. That's just my 30,000 foot impression. So there we go. That was my 2 cents. So Quentin, please.
And have you seen the code for that and ran it? I guess I've only seen little bits and pieces of it.
Yeah, I've only seen little bits and pieces, so I haven't run a large chunk through. I have the closing memo, but haven't dug more deeply than I needed to in order to make the determinations I needed to at the end of the year. So I haven't kicked the tires as hard as we'll want to before we decide to hand it off to someone.
Maybe Aubrey has thoughts on it. I don't remember if it was on our Trello board and it's something she would have caught.
Yeah, that might not be on the Trello board.
I didn't see that one, but I am more than happy to take a look at it. If is it in our repo?
Yes,
Or GitHub?
it is, and I have a transfer memo that I can get to you as well.
Okay, yeah, I can take a first look at it just to get a more detailed start.
So yeah, I think that really should be a matter of like the whole thing is done, but we need to maybe think about ordering and some refactoring. I don't know. It might be like almost ready to go. I know that she's ran it by the clinical programs already.
Yeah, the biggest problem there was they wanted to do a change in the clinical programs had a philosophical choice that they made about how they wanted to direct people through the options. That was a change from how it had originally been designed. And so that was the main stumbling point, was that having to go back and rework that. So the thing I'm not clear on is how much, if it was the old way, then I think it's very close to done. The question is how much of that change has been made. Because it had implications, knock-on implications for if you made this one choice at the beginning. Thanks. But yeah, we'll look at the transfer. I'll get the transfer member to Aubrey and she can have a look at that. And then I'm very tempted
And then for the, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, what I was going to, while I'm not in the wind, what I was going to say is the 258E. It might be worth just identifying like what forms do we have, what forms do we need, and going through having somebody this summer do the labeling of the form, because that in itself is a pretty labor-intensive step, but it is also one that's very mechanical and that can be and would really benefit from a point when we have more hands available. So we might take it at least that far this summer is what I was thinking.
I like that.
Can I use the computer?
I think something wanted to eat the computer.
I'm
It's a
sorry.
little snake.
I also think I misheard Quentin. Was that you said the labeling of the form for the 258E?
Yeah, so I know there's at least like 3 or 4 forms that we haven't started that are part of the 258E, and some of them are part of the 209A as well.
Okay, thanks.
And then we also have the large appeals project that hopefully we'll be able to start off, which is the, so I feel like between those 3, we've got large project possibilities to investigate. That being said, Aubrey and I will be having a discussion this afternoon at 4 to figure out assignments for people for tomorrow. So if people have other thoughts or whatnot on that, you can let us know through Teams, or if you want to join our call, you could. I can drop that in the Teams as well. But no one has to. That being said, I think Aubrey and I would be best served if we moved off this channel and let you guys continue, and we moved over to our other channel, so we could. We don't want to be caught having to sing. On the channel.
And let's
I
Anyway.
thought they were coming to say hi and introduce themselves, or was that a
Nope,
separate thing?
that's all
Okay.
over on that channel. If you want to come
Alright.
over there and say hi, you can, but I think you're gonna have stand-up, so.
Yeah.
The big time when they'll be folded in with everyone else, this Friday, they'll be part of the normal stand-up on Friday.
Where's the other one?
So
Okay.
that will be and then hopefully also a part of Casual Friday. So that will hopefully be a time for everyone to get
Yeah, but
to the
do you know what?
new folks and old folks to integrate
Awesome.
And
in a social.
sorry, and after today's meeting, I'm gonna put tomorrow's schedule and activities in the main channel for everyone. So you are invited if you're available.
Awesome.
All right.
Ta.
Thumbs up. Aubrey, I'll see you over there in a second.
Yep.
Deal.
See y'all.
Noah, come back.
And then there was us.
Here we are.
Are we restarting for?
And is us just the three of us?
Yes,
Sorry,
it's
yes,
just the
okay.
three of us.
Okay. All right.
Should we restart for stand-up, or we'll do that at 12:30, or?